Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. You've probably heard the buzz around the NFL lately. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team known for their gritty defense, resilient mentality, and of course, the legendary black and gold spirit, are once again at a crossroads. And no, I'm not talking about just another off-season rumor or some minor roster tweak. We're talking about the possibility, and I emphasize asterisk possibility, of a blockbuster move that could shake the very foundation of the AFC North. Specifically, the idea that the Steelers might consider trading one of their most valuable assets, T.J. Watt. Yes, you heard that right. T.J. Watt, the cornerstone of Pittsburgh's defense, the guy who's been the heartbeat of their pass rush for years, could be on the move. Now, I know what many of you are thinking, come on, that's impossible. But let's break it down, because the NFL is a business, and sometimes, even the most beloved players can find themselves on the trade block if the circumstances line up just right. So, what's fueling these rumors? Well, it all started with the Steelers making a bold move recently by trading Micah Fitzpatrick. That's right, Micah, one of the best safeties in the league, was sent packing, a move that sent shockwaves through Pittsburgh and across the league. Now, you might wonder, what does that have to do with Watt? It signals a willingness from GM Omar Khan to shake things up, to be aggressive in shaping the roster, to make bold decisions if it means improving the team's chances. And Watt, who's been the face of the Steelers' defense for years, could be the next big piece to move if the right offer comes along. Let's be clear, the Steelers' management would love for Watt to stay, especially since he's under contract and has been one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league. But if negotiations hit a snag, and if Khan feels he can't get a fair extension done, considering a trade might not be out of the question. It's a tough pill for Steelers fans to swallow, because Watt is more than just a player, he's a symbol of Pittsburgh's identity on defense. Now, let's imagine for a moment that a trade of T.J. Watt actually happens. The internet, social media, NFL fans across the country would explode. It would be one of those seismic moves that gets everyone talking, debating, and analyzing for weeks. But again, I want to stress, most in Pittsburgh don't see it happening. The consensus among Steelers fans and insiders is that Watt will resign, that the team will do everything to keep him in the fold. But the league is unpredictable, and the market for elite pass rushers is fierce. Teams are always looking for that game-changing edge rusher, and Watt's name inevitably comes up in those conversations. So Khan, the GM, would be wise to evaluate the market thoroughly, to gauge what kind of return he could get if he ever decided to explore trades. Because, let's face it, any trade involving Watt would be huge, a true blockbuster. Now, I know some of you are already thinking, who could possibly be interested in Watt? Well, that's where things get interesting. There are a few teams around the league that could see Watt as a perfect fit, and the potential trade scenarios are pretty wild. For example, one of the most talked about possibilities involves the Dallas Cowboys, a team that's always looking to bolster their pass rush. The Cowboys already have Micah Parsons, a star linebacker and edge rusher in his own right, but pairing him with Watt could be the ultimate dream scenario for Dallas. Imagine the chaos that duo would create on defense, both of them rushing from different angles, constantly harassing quarterbacks, creating turnovers. It'd be a nightmare for offenses, and it would immediately make the Cowboys a top contender. And here's the thing. If Omar Khan is smart, he'd evaluate what he could get in return. Would the Cowboys be willing to part with a premium draft pick? Could they include a promising young player or two, maybe a future first-rounder? That's the kind of offer that could tempt Pittsburgh, especially if they're looking to rebuild or retool their roster around their core talent, including Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, and a developing defense. But this isn't just about Dallas. Other teams like the Green Bay Packers, who are always on the lookout for defensive stars, might get involved. The Packers, with their rich history of great defenses and a need to bolster their pass rush, could see Watt as a perfect addition. And if Green Bay really wants to push for a deep playoff run, they might be willing to pay a premium. Interestingly, the Packers have some intriguing assets to offer in a trade. Rumors suggest that they might consider moving some of their defensive pieces or even draft capital to land a player like Watt. For example, they could offer a package that includes one of their promising young defensive players, maybe a linebacker or a safety, combined with a couple of draft picks. That kind of deal could work for both sides. Pittsburgh gets a young talent to help rebuild their defense, and Green Bay gets the elite pass rusher they desperately need. And of course, if the trade involves Watt heading to Green Bay, you can bet the Packers would be looking to address their offensive line too, maybe trying to swap some draft positions or players to make the deal even more enticing. Now, let's shift gears a bit and look at another potential destination, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It might seem like a surprise at first, given that Tampa isn't traditionally known for their pass rush, but with Todd Bowles as head coach, they're always looking for ways to strengthen their defense. Adding a player like Watt could give them that missing piece, that disruptive force that can change games single-handedly. Plus, the Bucs already have some offensive talent, so adding Watt on defense could balance their roster and give them a real shot at contending again. And think about the impact Watt could have in Tampa, rushing the passer, setting the edge against the run, creating chaos in the backfield. It's a move that would make sense from a strategic standpoint. But here's where it gets even more interesting. For a trade like this to happen, the Steelers would want a significant return, and that could include a proven franchise left tackle, like Tristan Wirfs, for example. Pittsburgh has struggled at times to protect their quarterback, and giving Kenny Pickett a reliable blindside protector could be a game-changer. If the Steelers could swap Broderick Jones or another young lineman for Wirfs, that would be a major upgrade. It's a bold move, but with the right draft picks included, the Steelers could be looking at a future franchise quarterback in the 2026 NFL Draft, while also solidifying their offensive line. That kind of multi-layered deal would be a real statement of intent from Omar Khan, showing that he's not afraid to shake things up in pursuit of a championship. Now, I want to touch on something that many Steelers fans have been voicing concerns about: the receiver position. You see, even with a star like Aaron Rodgers now under center, the team still needs to improve their offensive weapons. They've got some promising young players like George Pickens and Calvin Austin III, but adding more proven targets could take their offense to the next level. And this is where the trade landscape gets even more intriguing. The Steelers might explore options to acquire a top receiver, especially if they're looking to maximize Rodgers' potential. Imagine pairing a guy like A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf with Rodgers, giving him explosive playmakers who can turn short passes into big gains. That would be a nightmare for defenses and could elevate Pittsburgh's offense into a league-top unit. It's all about maximizing the window with Rodgers, and a trade for a proven receiver could be the move that puts Pittsburgh over the top. And let's not forget about the draft. Omar Khan has shown a willingness to be aggressive in the draft, accumulating extra picks and trying to find hidden gems. If the Steelers decide to trade Watt or other assets for draft capital, they could be setting themselves up for a deep, strategic rebuild. Maybe they'll target a top quarterback in the 2026 NFL Draft, or perhaps they'll focus on building up their defense and offensive line through the draft and free agency. The possibilities are endless, and Khan has demonstrated that he's not afraid to make bold moves to position the Steelers for sustained success. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, but wait, isn't TJ Watt too valuable to trade? And you're right, he's a franchise player, a leader, and a symbol of Steelers defense. But in the NFL, business is business. Sometimes, even the biggest stars are on the trading block if it means a chance to rebuild or push for a Super Bowl sooner. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's also part of the game. The key here is that, whether Watt stays or goes, the Steelers are in a fascinating position. They're rebuilding, they're retooling, and they're looking to contend, all at the same time. The question is, what will Omar Khan decide? Will he hold on to Watt, betting on his leadership and talent to carry them through another playoff run? Or will he pull the trigger in pursuit of a broader strategic plan that could reshape the division and the league? And let's be honest, Steelers fans, no matter what happens, it's going to be an exciting offseason. The NFL never sleeps, and with rumors swirling about trades, draft picks, and roster changes, we're in for a roller coaster ride. What's certain is that the Steelers are still a team to watch. Their defense, led by Watt, has always been their backbone, but now, with the possibility of some big moves, They're looking to reassert their dominance and chase another Super Bowl. So stay tuned, keep your eyes on the news, and get ready for a summer full of surprises. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Pittsburgh never backs down from a challenge, and they're always ready to make headlines. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now looking ahead, the offseason will be critical. The Steelers have a lot of decisions to make, and every move they make could have ripple effects across the league. Whether they decide to stand pat with Watt, resign him, or explore the trade market, one thing is clear: Pittsburgh is not content to sit still. They want to contend, they want to get back to the top, and they're willing to shake things up to do it. The AFC North, a division that's become more competitive than ever, is watching closely. The Ravens, Bengals, and Browns have all made their moves, and Pittsburgh will need to respond in kind. The next few months will tell us a lot about the direction the Steelers are headed. In terms of the season ahead, there's genuine optimism among Steelers fans. Kenny Pickett's development looks promising, and the team's defense, led by Watt, is still among the best in the league. But they need that extra spark, that game-changing playmaker, whether it's an elite receiver or an impact defender like Watt. The draft, free agency, and potential trades will all play a role in shaping their roster. And remember, the Steelers have historically been a team that values loyalty and stability, but they've also shown a willingness to be aggressive when the moment calls for it. That's what makes this offseason so intriguing. And don't forget, the Steelers fan base is one of the most passionate in the NFL. They've endured ups and downs over the years, from Super Bowl victories to rebuilding years, but one thing remains constant: their unwavering dedication to the team. That passion fuels the organization, pushing them to strive for greatness every season. As we watch these developments unfold, it's clear that Pittsburgh is not just aiming for a playoff appearance. They're chasing that elusive sixth Super Bowl title. And with the right moves, the right chemistry, and perhaps a little bit of luck, this team could be right back in the mix. So, whether Watt remains a Steel or gets traded to another franchise, the NFL landscape is about to shift. And Steelers fans, you better be ready for it. Because this offseason promises to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, filled with surprises, bold moves, and perhaps one or two moments that will define the next chapter of Steelers history. And no matter what, we'll be here to analyze, discuss, and keep you updated every step of the way. Because that's what Steelers Nation does: we stay passionate, we stay informed, and we always stay ready for whatever comes next. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these rumors? Do you think Watt will stay, or are we on the verge of an unprecedented trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers organization. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and news from the NFL. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, let's go Steelers.